Sunday felt so strange in my house. No games to watch at 10 a.m. or at 1:30, etc. That being said, there are news and notes everywhere. Awful story in Baltimore. Holy cow. And the NFL has not yet reacted. They are going to react. Justin Tucker is kicker's version of Deshaun Watson. Justin Tucker, field goal kicker extraordinaire, Baltimore Ravens, probably headed to the twilight of his career, could be headed to a suspension. Justin Tucker has been named now by 13 different women for sexual misconduct with massage therapists in 8 different spas in and around Baltimore. He's being sued. 13 women have now attached their names to the sexual misconduct stuff. He says it's old news. NFL looks at it and says that won't be old news. I bet his name's going to be on the commissioner's exempt list pretty doggone quickly. That's a big issue there in Baltimore. He's Deshaun Watson revisiting. Interesting story in Minnesota. We followed the Vikings and obviously the great run they had and the reemergence, the bounce back season, the save your career season Sam Darnold has. It does not look like Minnesota is going to let him get on the open market. The Vikings, again, he's a walk free agent. He earned all of $10 million last season when he put up 35 touchdown passes. Minnesota's now talking about franchise tagging him, which would seal him to Minnesota for 1 year. The franchise tag number is almost $41 million. He'd go from $10 million to $41 million, but he likes Kevin O'Connell, etc. That would keep him off the open market. So we'll see if that franchise tag is going to be given to him. The reason is there revelations now out of the Twin Cities that J.J. McCarthy's surgeries, 2 of them, the meniscus tears, a lot more significant than anybody realized. And the rehab from the type of meniscus tears he had across the whole front of the knee, not just a snippet, are significant, and the rehab is going to take forever. This way, J.J. McCarthy is not going to be part of all season workouts, which now sets him back further in terms of can I do anything, learning curve in preseason. So that's why all of a sudden Darnold might be the franchise tag guy there. New Orleans Saints, they got a problem. Age, got a problem. Lots of injuries, got a problem. Damn salary cap. Derek Carr's salary cap number is $51 million. So they got a problem because if they cut him, they get whacked. You could trade him, but he's earning $30 million plus per season. You're going to take a cap hit there. And Kellen Moore, the first-year head coach walking in the door from the Eagles with a Super Bowl ring, he's refusing to say that Derek Carr's his quarterback. He says he loves these skill guys he's got, and he says we're going to be better defensively because we're going to get everybody back healthy. Refused to answer questions at the first press conference about Derek Carr, whose cap figure is $51 million. New York Jets, do you own a big broom? Could you loan it to the people on Hempstead, Long Island? It looks like they're going to walk down the hallway and they're going to sweep everybody out. They're talking now. Rodgers has already been told, the quarterback, you're gone. Devontae Adams is asked to be traded. He will either be traded or he will be outright released, and they won't hardly take any cap hit for that. Now they're talking about the second receiver, Allen Lazard, who is Rodgers' running mate. He's going to be gone. The top inside linebacker, C.J. Mosley's been told he's not going to be brought back either. They need that big broom, that industrial-sized broom you have in your garage. Loan that to the New York Jets. Then Aaron Glenn has come in. He's running the show. It's going to be his team, his roster, and it starts with Aaron Rodgers. There's the door, exit. Cleveland. You want to talk about on the field? The crisis with the defensive end who wants to be traded? What do you want to talk about off the field? Jim Haslett, owner, controversial owner, failure of an owner. Jim Haslam puts out this document about this dome stadium they want to build in Brook Park, 14 miles south of Cleveland. I lived next to Brook Park when I worked in Cleveland. Know all about it. It's an industrial community. $2.6 billion dome stadium. He's willing to pay $1.2 billion of it, plus cost overruns. He's gone back to the city of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, and Mike DeWine, the governor of the state of Ohio, and says, I want you to contribute to this dome stadium. He wants them to put in a combined $1.2 billion themselves. City of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County have offered $600 million to renovate the current stadium on the lakefront. Haslam says, no, I want a dome stadium. It'd be great for the community, etc. This thing, I don't think this thing can go forward. Haslam is just He's the most hated freaking guy in Cleveland at this moment. Doesn't supersede how hated Art Modell was, the original owner of the Browns who moved the team to Baltimore. But this is a disaster. Kansas City, Travis Kelce, or should I say Travis Kelce - Swift. Travis Kelce's been told March 14th, the Chiefs want a decision. Are you going to play, be part of this, or are you going to retire? He is due an $11.5 million guaranteed roster bonus in March. They want a decision because they'll take that cap money and go somewhere else and try to fix the rest of the franchise in free agency. So Travis Kelce, who's gone off on vacation with Swift, has got a decision to make. And in Dallas, the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, they're going to make a deal. They're going to go get another receiver to put opposite of the great young receiver, CD Lamb. They're trying to get Cooper Kupp from the Rams, which would be a blow to the Chargers because the Chargers want him. I don't know if the Rams want to trade a good player to the other side of the stadium, to the other tenant in that stadium. And I guess maybe they'll just play the Price is Right. Who's going to give me a decent draft pick, a third or fourth round pick for a veteran receiver like Cooper Kupp? So there's always a lot of stuff. I told you, I was so bored there was no NFL games on Sunday, but as I did my notebook stuff, I said, damn, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So always a lot of stuff to talk about in the NFL. Now that we've gone from Super Bowl to offseason. John, the floor is yours.
I just want to talk about the Browns and the Vikings. So with the Browns, remember forever they played in the Mistake by the Lake, yes, right? And then that was the stadium they were in when they moved to Baltimore?
They were in Municipal Stadium right on Lake Erie. I sat there and I froze, and it was a great old place. God, there was so much heritage. If that stadium could talk, it could tell you tales. But it was old and it was decrepit and et cetera. And Art Modell left, and Cleveland was just distraught. Cleveland made a deal with the NFL. If we finance and build a new stadium right on the same location as Municipal Stadium, right off Lakeshore Boulevard, you go down the bridge and you look like you're going into the lake, but there's a stadium right there. So they said, if you build a new stadium, will you give us a franchise to replace the Cleveland Browns? And the NFL said yes. Browns logo, Browns name, Browns colors, Browns record book stays in Cleveland. Art Modell goes to Baltimore. And he went to Baltimore to replace the old Colts who went to Indianapolis. So that's how that deal worked.
So that new stadium in Cleveland has got to be, 20 years old maybe?
Yeah, 2001.
2001. Interesting. So, and wasn't there like a controversy about the Art Modell clause and you can't move it? What's that all about?
Well, supposedly the NFL agreed to the called Modell law, that if anybody who owned the new Cleveland Browns, who I think took the field in 1999, if anybody wanted to take that team out of that stadium, before they could do that, they had to offer it up for sale, and the city would have the first opportunity to put together a consortium to buy the Browns from whoever was trying to take them out of the stadium. Now, Haslam knew about that, but Haslam bought the Browns from the Lerner family, and then Haslam turned around now and said, well, this thing would never hold up in court, and they filed all kinds of appeals. So that thing is tied up. I don't know whether the Modell law is really in effect, whether it has any validity. The courts will have to figure that one out. But here's a guy trying to leave downtown Cleveland. And Cleveland City County have already put together a financial plan to help renovate that older stadium. Haslam says, no, I want a new stadium, Brook Park. I want it domed because then we can bid on Final Fours, et cetera, et cetera. But the city of Cleveland says, you leave here when this lease is up in 2031, you leave here, you damage us, because the city of Cleveland has fixed revenues, all types of sales taxes on everything, parking tickets, game tickets, memorabilia, food, the rental of the stadium. There's a whole chunk of revenue comes to the city of Cleveland, operates it. And city of Cleveland says, we're not going to put $1.2 billion into a stadium you're taking out of our downtown area, which impacts our revenue streams downtown to fill potholes and all that. Tough call.
Well, that's why stadiums need to be privately financed. I mean, it's foolish that taxpayers are involved. But let me just quickly talk about the Vikings. Now, the J.J. McCarthy injury is a lot more severe than we thought.
Yes.
I can understand the Sam Darnold franchise tag, and he's got to be sitting pretty right now. But whatever happened to Daniel Jones? I mean, is his career over?
No, he was signed for half a season. Minnesota's third quarterback, didn't play. Learning curve, understands O'Connell's offense. But March 10th, street free agent. He'll go out on the open market. Guy can play. Guy was victimized by just being on a bad New York Giants team, just got the crap knocked out of him. He's hung in there, but he's had all kinds of injuries because he's been hurt. His stats aren't overwhelmingly great, but look who was around him. So he'll probably wind up with a contract with somebody, and probably as somebody's 3-year contract starting quarterback. Is he a superstar? No, but he's an established NFL quarterback. But at this point, Darnold is the hot name out there because of what he got accomplished with Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I mean, but Darnold in his last 2 games was really shaky. You're not sure what you're going to get. But with Daniel Jones, I wonder if he'll have like the Saquon Barkley effect. You know, he lands in another spot, better situation. He might be a better quarterback than we thought.
Yeah, you just have to see, do you believe what you see on tape, or do you understand what you saw on tape is a byproduct of no offensive line and not many quality wide receivers? There are people out there. Tennessee, it's really weird, and we'll talk more about this as we go towards the NFL draft. Tennessee has the number 1 pick. Tennessee says they're not looking at either of those kid quarterbacks, Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders. But they're really unhappy with Will Levis. A Daniel Jones as a short-term rental with the young first-round pick Levis, who had a good season and a bad second season. That might be doable in Tennessee, so then Tennessee would trade back, stockpile more picks, and fix the rest of their franchise. Daniel Jones might be a good rental in that type of situation.
Interesting. All right, here we go.
Okay. All things NFL. You want to react? Want to respond? Feel free.